Hello everyone, my name is Daniela. Now I will tell you how, with the help of hundreds of thousands of dollars, I managed to buy myself an entire school and became the best student. And at the same time, I no longer had to do homework or go to all the classes, especially the boring ones. Watch and admire. My parents are very rich and influential people. I was lucky to be born into their family. Besides me, there's another child, my little brother, Albert. He is small, so he has his own nanny, and I also have my own nanny, a personal one. My parents hired a teacher with 3 higher educational diplomas to teach me social manners, do homework, and explain the school curriculum. To be honest, the load was very heavy, so one day I could not stand it and told my parents that I did not want to study anymore. Mom, Dad, I want to say that I don't like going to school. It's difficult for me there. I want to leave.
No, Daniela. You need to study in order to grow up educated and literate. If you want to live well in the future, work together with me or your mother, you need to learn. You're almost there. It's your last year of high school, and then you'll go to Harvard. Honey, listen to Dad. You are now on the finishing line. You should think about your profession. Now is not the time to drop out. You should put all your effort into it.
But Dad, Mom, it's easy for you to say. You've gone to school already. It's hard for me. Maybe I'm not as smart as you?
You're even smarter than us. Let's just say that if you finish school with A marks, you will get a gift from us. If you don't get a bad grade all year, I'll buy you any car you want. Celebrate your birthday in Milan, just like you dreamed. Honey, isn't that a little too big? No, if she keeps her word, this will be the first great gift and the last. Then maybe after you go to Harvard, I'll buy you something else. For example, an apartment in New York. You can live there with your friends.
Are you serious?
I give you my word.
Deal. When I heard from my father that such a gift was waiting for me, even these large gifts, I almost lost my mind. I could imagine driving my own car through New York, living there, studying at Harvard. It's just gorgeous. I had to make every effort to learn well. But as soon as I walked into my room, I saw a stack of books in front of me, and I remembered that the next day is my exam, and in 15 minutes, Brian will be waiting for me for our date. He's my boyfriend. I decided that I would walk with him for a short time, and as soon as I returned, I would prepare myself. I packed up, left the house, and Brian and I went for a walk. On the way, I suggested getting a snack, and we drove in the direction of the nearest restaurant. We went inside and ordered. He supported me when I told him about the agreement with my parents. He said that he would only be too happy if his girlfriend became the best student.
I'll copy it from you, he said.
I laughed and continued to eat my salad. An hour later, we left the restaurant and found that his car was not in the parking lot.
What? What the hell? It can't be! Has it been stolen?
Panicked Brian. I tried to comfort him, telling him that the tow truck must have picked it up.
From where? From the parking lot? Tow trucks don't just pick up cars from the parking lot, Daniela. If I myself had at least once traveled with a personal driver, I would know.
What are you saying? Who needs your car? It's so old.
Well, I'm sorry, Your Majesty. My family is not as rich as yours. I have no money but a brand new car for you. You know I got it from my father after he died. And in general, if you had less requests, maybe I would have saved up for a new car.
Oh, so now you're accusing me of being too rich? You know what? Screw you. I was so angry, we had a fight, and I left. The first thing I did was call my friend Stella and go to her house to tell her everything. She tried to comfort me, and she said that I knew Brian wasn't as rich when I started dating him, and she told me not to whine about it now. To distract me a little, she offered to take me to a beauty salon. It really helped me relax. I got another haircut, a manicure, a relaxing head massage. We chatted a lot and I calmed down. We left the salon a few hours later when it was already quite dark outside. Well, friend, it's time to say goodbye. Tomorrow is an important day. Oh no, heck! I forgot about the exam because of everything with Brian. Well, we were told about it a week ago. Didn't you prepare? Did you prepare? Well, yes, it's important. To hear you say that it's important is terrifying. I know, but it's really important, so I really learned it. It's time for you to go home and get ready. You still have the whole night. I said goodbye to her and ran home, had a quick dinner, and sat down to study. After 30 minutes, I could already feel my eyes closing. I couldn't control it, but I remembered that I had to learn everything. Then the alarm rang, and I opened my eyes and realized that I had slept all night on the textbook at the table, and I had soaked it with my slobber. I quickly changed my clothes, washed my face, and was horrified to remember that I hadn't learned anything. Almost late for the exam, I went into the classroom and sat down. I was giving the paper, and I knew nothing on it. All in all, I got 20% that day. I was very upset. As soon as I remembered the agreement with my father, it became even worse. The most annoying thing is that Brian got a B. He was happy, but we didn't talk. Stella got an A, even though she couldn't believe it, and I got an F. But I didn't tell anyone about it. I couldn't go home with this grade, so I waited for everyone to leave and waited for the teacher. We had a short conversation, and I directly suggested that I rewrite the exam with ready-made answers. At first, the teacher was indignant, like, what right do I have? But then I said she'd get remuneration. It was an impressive amount of $50,000. She paused, took my check, handed me the answers, and in a couple of minutes, I'd written them all out. And I got an A. With this mark, I came home very happy, showed my parents, and they praised me. I told Stella that I was prepared. Our mood was great. That was it. I made a promise to myself from this moment to study properly. But in a couple of days, there was to be a test on another subject, and on that day, I had a cool shopping trip with my mother. How could I miss it? I approached that teacher in advance and told him. He was outraged at first, but at the sight of the money, he couldn't refuse. He gave me the answers, and I passed the exam again with an A. And then I began to buy not only exams, but also all the homework. I just copied everything in a couple of minutes and was free. It was very convenient. Besides, I managed to establish my system with all the teachers. They silently left me the answers, and I gave them money in return. You can say that this way I bought the whole school. And the main thing was that I no longer had to worry about the agreement with my father. It was pretty cool, right? It cost me a lot of money, but I didn't want to think about what to say to my father yet. Then one day, while I was doing this, my nanny came into my room. Daniela, we haven't done our homework for a long time. Don't they give you any? I barely had time to put away the answers, smiled at her and told her that I had done everything myself. She looked at me and was surprised, and then she started crying. She said she was so proud of me, but that meant that her help was no longer needed and she would be fired. Oh, no, I won't tell my parents, I promise. Really? Of course. How can I leave you without a job? The nanny thanked me and left, and I continued to copy the answers. Then my mom called me urgently, said that she was coming home now, and I urgently needed to go with her to an important meeting to meet someone. I quickly finished writing, packed up, and left with her. In the evening, when I came home, my father was sitting in the kitchen. My father gave me a report for my month of studying at school, and he was incredibly happy. My dad praised me, said that he believed in me for a reason, and called me a super gifted daughter. He even wanted to buy my car early. But at that moment, I felt so ashamed in front of him. My mother decided to leave us alone and went into the bedroom. I sat next to my father and listened to his praises. I was so ashamed of what I'd done, but I'd gotten too caught up in it and now I didn't know how to get out of it. A couple of minutes later, a wild yell came from my room. It was my mother. Daniela, what the hell is this? My mother came out and showed me a whole stack of ready-made answers to exams from my teachers. I blushed, turned purple, and began to choke. My father stood up, slowly took the completed tasks from my mother's hands, looked through them, and asked,
"What is this?"
"I'll explain everything." In short, guys, my plan surfaced. My parents were furious. I had to retake all my fake grades, and now under the strict supervision of my nanny. She almost got fired because of me, and I defended her somehow. The teachers also had a conversation. My parents took all the money from them and threatened them with the police. Now, my relationship with them is at loggerheads. I asked to be transferred to another school, but my father told me to study there and clean up all the things that I had made myself. Now, I'm definitely learning. Tell me, did you guys like my story? Write your opinion about it in the comments below the video. Do not forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel.